Yes.
Uh,
So pretty much whenever I've been playing, I've been really uh been focusing on just being like conscious and like thinking in my head instead of just kind of playing to play. And I'm very guilty of doing that. And I've been really trying to focus on like noticing, like just watching my opponent basically, just really, really focusing on that.
mm-hmm.
Meaning like, if I'm noticing the clock is flopping, then I'll start like dash back laser to catch that instead of like being hit by it and like losing 3 games to them before I'm like, okay, maybe I should do something about it.
For sure.
So yeah, and that's been helping me a lot, even though I noticed that I have been playing a little bit slower because I'm like watching for something. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
like, yeah, kind of like a whole mental stack thing going on. But otherwise,
Do you
it's working good.
increase the speed sometimes though? Like if you're on offense, like at advantage and you're pressuring someone's shield, like do you notice the speed picks up or is it still slowed down?
Um, yeah, there are bursts for sure, especially when I like am really confident. But yeah, it's definitely slower overall.
Okay, but that might just be that you're like because you're observing them, you're noticing there aren't as many opportunities to go in or like go fast, right? It might not just be like we're slower and therefore not controlling as well. It could also be that we're reacting to what's in front of us.
Yeah, and I feel like my execution hasn't been the greatest recently, which has been frustrating. But I think it's mainly because I've been playing very inconsistently, but
Mm-hmm.
also like this new way of looking at the game.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm getting hits in some spots that I'm like not used to. Or like I'll have an idea to like do something that I wouldn't have done before. Or I'd be like, oh, I should do like a forward air in this like weird spot to set up for something, and then I'll go to execute on it, and then I'll like mess up in the middle and get shine for it or something. And on the one hand, it feels great to have those ideas, but it feels like I can't execute on like 70% of them. And it's so painful.
Gotcha.
So
No,
I'll
that
say that's like, yeah,
no, I was just gonna ask, and like if you have more to add, that's fine. But I just had a quick question.
yeah.
Um, so you mentioned that it comes up in weird situations. I wanted to just kind of ask if you notice if you think about the situations like just here now off the top of your head, do you notice a pattern with any of them? Like, is it mainly like aerials at weird timings? Does it have to do with like a weird movement setup beforehand? Like, what makes it like? Is there any through line with what makes them weird?
I guess like so, I have kind of like not really. I have like a set thing I follow in like the flow chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see like a fox running off a platform, then my brain's like up tilt and like dashback laser mode to catch them, trying to set up something. But once I like have that like downloaded, then I start looking at other stuff and I start noticing other things that I probably wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Like, oh, I see them jumping up at like this certain spot or like they're dashing a certain way. And instead of like playing on the back foot and like lasering or dashing around like I would usually do, then I'll be like, I'm gonna try something different here. And usually it feels like kind of uncomfortable for me to go out there, but like I want to try it just to see if I could like get a quick kill or like set up for something. But I'm basically trying to find stuff that I probably wouldn't have gone for or have even seen before. And it's pretty like not 50-50. I'd say it's more skewed in it like going wrong more than going right, but that's kind of where it feels like that. It feels like my hands like stop being in my normal tempo and it's just like ah. It's like I have the idea, but then my hands can't do anything about it. It's a very weird feeling.
Hmm. Do you think this is the type of thing that might be able to be solved with just like a little bit of practice? Because again, you have a lot of character control, like over the things you are like adept at, and there's a lot of things you're very good at and do quite well. Do you think that this is the type of thing that we might be able to maybe broaden our practice with, so that it includes more of these like, you know, some of the motions that lead up to some of these plays, just so that we at least have like the muscle memory a little bit, or at least like try different variations on, you know, movements that could lead to those options. Like, I'm just trying to think, is there a way that we can bake this into like how we prepare and stuff?
So the last like 2 or 3 days, actually, I have been trying to fix that, or at least come up with solutions. And I usually sometimes for like solo practice, I'll just go into Uncle Punch and like Battlefield or like a stage, and I'll just move around, shadow box kind of stuff. And um, I would think back to like situations where I drop something, and then I try and like just do the movements like in that area, and just kind of like visualize like what to do, and then I just kind of like move around, I guess. It's kind of hard to explain, but like I just kind of like think on it and like really try and think of like if that was like a good thing for me to do or not. And well, it has been kind of like helping me move. Like I could feel myself get better in some of those spots, or like a little bit tighter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I, I think to make that sort of better, I need to actually go back and look at the situations. I feel, or like even set up stuff.
Okay, so you're
But
doing
it,
this purely off memory. We're not actually like confirming what the situation was.
yeah, I'd say I have looked at some of my replays, but a lot of my practice is like solo moving around and then just playing or direct connect. And I think I need to start looking at stuff more.
Yeah, because even if we could just make sure that we have like, even because you don't have to spend too much time on it. Like, I think that when people hear, yo, you have to look at VODs, you know, they get intimidated because it's like, oh, like I'm gonna be spending 15 minutes on it, an hour, like 4 hours. But no, you can probably if you remember what matches that some of the incidents came up in. Um, you just go to those ones, you find them. Matches, you know, they're pretty skimmable. Um, and from there, you just need like a minute or two per, like, you know, assuming you have you know which match it was and can find it quickly. You only need like a minute or two to like see exactly what it looked like. And kind
Yeah.
of and like kind of map out the steps and then do that like what you were describing with your hands and like telling and like visualizing the how it would work and all that. To me, that's just attunement. Like we're attuning our hands to what our brain to like the inputs that our brain is telling them to do, and like kind of aligning that with what with the game with like the gameplay. But I
Yeah.
think that we need a proper reference point in order for that to be most effective. Because yeah, if we're going purely off memory, memory is very very faulty. Um, yeah, if possible, it's best to go by the tapes as opposed to memory.
Yeah. That certainly makes sense.
Mm-hmm. It all sounds great
Um,
though. Like, I mean, like, it sounds like you're being very proactive about like how you want to improve and the things that you want to experiment with. I guess the one last thing I'd have to ask before we kind of like move on to like reviewing this thing, like these matches, is what are some? You mentioned that most of them don't work, but what some of the ones that can you think of any that have worked? And yeah, like just giving examples and like why you decided to go for those.
um, it's mainly like, like I said, I'm like watching my opponent, and then like I see a new pattern that, or like I'd see like a B or C plan from them. And before I'd only see like kind of what they're immediately doing and more like the broad strokes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since like I'm playing to them and get like I could get comfortable out decently fast. Um, and as soon as I start hitting them, I'm like noticing them adapting to me, and I could kind of like once I see them do something once, then it's like, oh, I could go and like go to that spot immediately that they're trying to like escape to, whether it be like jumping or like moving back. And I've gotten a lot of reads on people like DIing out or like rolling away a lot more often than usual. And it's usually just something simple like a down smash or like a forward smash or something like that to set up into an edge guard. When before I'd probably like
Back air.
uh yeah, back
Grab.
air or like yeah, something like that.
Honestly, that's a huge buff to your efficiency. Like if we can clean up the situations we go for it in, landing kill moves is like one of the hardest things to do with Falco. So if this is if developing this part of your gameplay is allowing you to do that, to me that this is absolutely something that makes a lot of sense to push further. So with that, how do you feel about starting? Do you have anything else we want to go over, or do you think we're ready to jump into these games?
So, quick thing, I have looked into like Falco Ditto stuff, uh, like within the last few days. I looked at this like VOD of Ginger and Squid talking about the Ditto, and what's really funny is I think in the first like 4 seconds of the VOD they were watching, they paused and then talked for 40 minutes. It was really funny, but yeah, it was. They're mainly going over like different play styles. You might see a Falco playing the Ditto. Like there's Falcos that shoot a lot of lasers and kind of like keep the space, and then there's like Falcos who like really use the platforms and like full hop around. And then
Yeah.
there's like the one Falco who like is very dash dancey and like scrappy and likes to lock you in. And kind of like this triangle of play style is just kind of like how you maneuver around and like go about like beating this style like versus like the platforming Falco, you're probably gonna want to be on the ground a bit more and look for jump up shines and stuff like that.
Hmm. See, it's interesting because I would consider the Dash Dancy one and the laser one to be the same thing. Because my understanding of the dynamic of the matchup is that you have one Falco who like dominates the laser game, so then they basically
Yeah,
force the other Falco to like play the full hop one.
yeah, which is kind of how I've always seen it. The whole reason I saw that VOD, funnily enough, was because I usually like to look at the Falco deconstructed on Metafy, but those don't exist anymore apparently.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That
which
yeah,
is really
Metafy is in a bit of a state right now.
yeah. I only learned about that like a few days ago, and I was still people are like, yeah, Metafy. And I was like, oh, so
Gotcha. Okay, I think we should be. Thank you for like letting me know. So with that, let's take a look see, and we'll see what we can figure out.
oh yeah,
So
I should probably also say how this game went. I feel like we were really close, and like we played very similarly. But Casey had the extra edge, and I started getting antsy and pushing forward too much.
mm-hmm. So 2:30. So okay, here we go. Okay, makes sense. And you're green, makes sense. So let's see
Yep.
here. Like the up tilts. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. So I'm noticing something that Casey's doing very very well. Hi,
Casey is very,
hi.
very good.
Aside from being very good, which is very clear, but like what she's doing, like she right or
Gee,
okay, cool. Yeah, what she's doing well is her laser placement. So she does a lot of high lasers at good times. Because those are the what she's doing is she's catching you for trying to go into the air to set up your laser. So like that one from you is a low laser, and you generally favor the low ones, which makes sense. They're generally the ones you want in most matchups, but this one's a little weird because like high laser stops the other Falco from jumping, and you can do them sooner.
yeah. I definitely felt like she had way better lasers than me. Like throughout the set.
So like watch how she does this one. Like, see how high that goes? Like, you can't move into that space. Like, had you tried to laser, you just get eaten. So
Yeah.
then you're forced to play up here, but then that puts out advantage. And then because you're like descending from this high like ground, and you have to like fall to like here before you can shoot like the laser at her, she's able to like shoot like a mid-height one to establish control again, and then she calls you out. She doesn't hit you, but like yeah, she's doing this really well. Like this is basically what I would tell if I had to tell someone how to play this mirror, the Falco mirror. It's basically this. It's like use your lasers, use your lasers to establish control. Hope that you're the one who establishes control because you're both gonna try it. And then like assuming you are the one that establishes control, then just like look for them for the full hop to like get around it and like deal with it in some way.
Yeah. There are some situations with lasers that are so weird because sometimes it's like I get mine out first and then I win, but sometimes like I get mine out second from theirs and then I win. So it's like I don't know, the lasers feel very like scrambly. I do like the high laser thing though to stop them from jumping.
Yeah, so what I would say there is so yeah, so let's watch this. So she gets into
Favorite
Mhm.
yeah, favorite mix up in the game is holding the shield to one way and then using the C stick to roll the other way. It's so goofy, but you know.
No, that absolutely. So like what I would say that's good about her laser game is that she cuts off your jump and she has a good sense of like once she cuts off your jump she has a good sense of whether or not she's supposed to like laser again or whether she's like supposed to read something or whether she goes in with the aerial. Now how she's doing that I'm not totally sure, but like you can see what I mean, right? Like
Yeah.
she's taking very consistent lines. Yeah, like this one she caught you out of the air close by on an advance. So this makes a lot of sense here. This is also one of the perks of the high laser. It also cuts off the approaching aerial. So like had she like there's a million things you can do off this opening, right?
Yeah.
Like what are some other things you could do? Like she elects to nair, but like what's something else you could do?
Like you said, like a million things. The nair back air, jump shine. Um,
If you were like slightly closer, turn up tilt, down tilt probably. Um
yeah.
like you could probably even make a case
Until
for a
even.
dash attack like if you were a little higher, like dash attack up tilt's not bad.
Yeah.
Um like yeah, she's just so I think that like high laser is definitely something we want to work our way in. Let's like try to like let's do a thought experiment though. Let's say you don't approach with like let's say you don't approach with that near. Like let's say that you get hit from your starting position. Like you get a hit over here because you try to laser. She like if in that hypothetical, what do you think would make sense to do afterwards?
Um,
So we're gonna pretend that you're over here, like this is your starting point, and you get
okay.
hit by the laser there. Same at the same height, like still here. Like this all still works, but like what do you think would make sense after, like in her shoes after the laser connects on you?
So in her shoes, she sees me getting hit by the laser far away
Mm-hmm.
or further. Um, honestly, probably just more high lasers, maybe inch a tiny bit closer. It's kind of like what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um, and just kind of controlling that slide flat because I mean she has the lead and the control, so like I feel like if she knows she can't hit me, then she could just keep her control and like maybe just kind of keep an eye on my escape options like top flat or jumping.
That makes sense to me. Um, could this be a moment where we could potentially? I know we said high laser, but what could we potentially mid laser here?
Um, yeah, that makes sense, especially with the platform kind of like that, the one on the right.
Mm-hmm.
But
What are the pros and cons of the second high laser and the pros and cons of the mid laser? What do you think? Like, what do you think they each offer?
mid laser kind of stops me from moving forward, and the high laser kind of stops me from jumping.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the high laser and the mid laser, I mean, like, uh, with the power shields and all that, I always find like a high laser is kind of weird to power shield compared to like a mid laser. I'm not sure if the timing's like slightly different, but I feel like if I power shield the high laser, then like it's probably gonna go over her because she's gonna be like landing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if I power shield the mid laser, it's gonna hit her.
Could that be an argument then for low laser? Because low laser, you could like potentially jump over it again.
Yeah, low laser, she could shoot it, and if I decide to shield after being hit, then she could like do an approaching laser into a shine, jumping over the lower one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I'm thinking we like advance with like a jump, like jump in place, drift forward, then like shoot the laser either mid or low, probably low based on this discussion, after the high laser. And I think part of why I like it is that it maximizes the frame advantage we get if you shield. It allows us to counterplay against power shield, and it should still stop grounded approaches. And it's not really good for you here to approach into Falco like this, with
Yeah,
over the laser with your jump, right? Because like that's easily a turnaround up tilt anti-air. Yeah, like she's got so much counterplay for that. So I think that weirdly enough, it's the low laser here after the high laser that makes sense. So I think that what we have here is there's subtleties to the distances you can keep from each other, right? Because this low laser works because from here to here is not a good approach territory. You're like, especially not with if you're being like told when you're supposed to do it by this bullet.
yeah,
Um, like that's really the crux of this. But then on the same in the same token, staying in place isn't really ideal either, because she's now created she would have created a spot where she can deal with this, and then also continue like pressing offense on you. Assuming that you do the best answer that you probably can from a defensive standpoint. So this might be like this concept. I think might be something that's like important to keep in mind as we like go through the rest of these games, because I think that there's like a lot to just like the little things that happen in the mirror, like the little things that happen with how our lasers give us like help us train our opponents' timings or force them into like certain lines.
yeah.
She's really
That
good though.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I feel like the lasers aren't something I'm like super conscious on. Like I know like getting the control is one of the biggest keys in this matchup, but like mainly the like high low stuff is not something that I like super think about.
High low lasers are really big. Like one of the things that Magi does, one of the things that I think a Magi does better again than basically anyone with the character, I think, is how she uses high and low lasers to create some of her shine openings. Because she hits people out of the air a lot with like one of them, and then catches them on the other height, and then like with when she advances, and then a lot of times that's what leads to her shine. She does it a lot in her set at, versus Meds at Genesis.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. See what I mean? Like, yeah, so because you're shooting like your lasers lower, like this one, she's winds up being able to like stop you and then create like an opening.
Yeah. Also, I feel like after game one, in my mind, I feel like I kind of was like, okay, I feel like I need to just play full off. Like I kind of almost gave up immediately being grounded and taking the role that Casey's kind of like playing here.
That makes like honestly that's understandable. Like she was in control so effectively with like when you try to compete with her, it's a lot of mirrors. Like when you have like a very powerful zoning element like this, if somebody's just like winning it, a lot of times the other person just has to do the backup plan. I will say something that's good about you though is like your combo game, like yeah, you're hitting I think you're hitting more consistent like you're hitting more like better strings in some ways. Because that like 0 to 52 that you hit had a lot of potential for follow up. I feel like she's a little bit more willing to just kind of like do the like take the damage and like kind of like return to neutral. Like, just
Mhm.
basically finish safely and then move on. I think yours have your lines have a bit more potential, which is really, really good. Because I think this is a matchup where it, like, pays to, like, push the envelope there. But yeah, it's a lot of, so much of this is just, like, she can jump over your lasers and you can't jump over hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, look at that. So on that one, she crouched upon landing because she noticed the high laser, probably. So that could be a case for mid height laser, like as part of the mix up, mid and low. But it looks like that high laser is really important in this one, as like it's kind of like almost the default one. I don't know if it's quite that good, but like it's definitely up there, in a
Yeah.
big way. And then the other ones are more like the conditional ones that are like you do them as like to cover the holes in your initial laser strat.
Yeah. I remember getting very sad there.
I mean, this is such a like for me, if I were in your shoes, I would be so frustrated with this set because I'd feel like I'm not really getting to play. Like I'm not really being like able to play. Something I want to ask you about. What do you think about using the platforms as a way of like escaping from her like laser game and then setting up lasers in response? Because you could just go up there and then run off the side and come down with laser, right?
Yeah. Also, one adaptation that I made was like I remember the first Pokemon Stadium game. She hit me like at the starting position, and then this I just kind of assumed she was going to do the same exact starting thing again, which was just drop through, shoot two lasers, and I just like found a way to hit her there.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're definitely doing what you can, and that's good. Because yeah, like if you're trying everything, like adapting, you're keeping up with like her decisions where possible, then yeah, at the very least, you're still trying your best, which means that like all the things that happen here are just like yeah, it's a good barometer, I guess, of like what you need to work where the opportunities are.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how you did that. That was quite good. That was a little ambitious. So something cool. Um,
I think
if they do come up with that like ledge dash shine, if you like retreat laser and they do it, if it like blinks, I think you can just like F smash them after or like forward tilt or something because they get locked in the shine for a while.
yeah. I think I might have tried to up tilt there,
Hmm.
but I could have just straight up smash. I don't remember.
You did up smash. My concern is more that like we're kind of
I
like
could.
approaching into Falco on the ledge with Galint, like who has possible
Yeah.
Galint. Yeah, like it's not so much that the up smash. It's not the up smash I'm concerned about. It's the fact that we went all the way over there, um, in a situation where she potentially has like ledge invincibility, on stage.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there was I don't think there was a reason to take that risk. What do you think would have worked better instead of that?
So one, I wish that situation didn't come up because I randomly jabbed. But for this, I think just kind of staying on the side plat.
Like around here?
Yeah, like either under or even on the side plat, and just kind of watch because I feel like that's a good space to like uh make the other Falco feel just super uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Because I feel like the only thing they could really do is like laser roll or like maybe something like full hop or even just like go back to the ledge. And I know when I'm like by the ledge during the ditto like this, I get very antsy too. So that's usually I think would be the best answer to just kind of do, kind of watch them and see what they like to do when they're in the corner, I guess.
That makes sense. I like going on the platform here. I think that seems sensible. I feel like the platform just offers it like if they want to hit us with something on the platform, they have to like come up basically and do something awkward. Um,
Yeah,
and I think that's
they
really the crux of it. Like, there's no good way to attack this spot from here.
yeah, and if they try it, because you can actually double laser and the first laser could hit the plat, but you could like just short hop over that and like hit with an air.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could just this is to me that's like so dangerous because like what if they just shield like forget short hopping over it. What if you just shield drop forward, like down here, and then forward
Yeah,
tilt him? And sorry, forward tilt the bird.
yeah,
Like that'll also kill it. Like there's 8 million ways. Like if you're here, there's like 8 million ways that you can punish like ledge hop double laser if they try to actually hit you on the side platform.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what. So what could someone do instead of ledge hop double laser? I guess they could like ledge dash here. But even then,
And
that's still fine because you're in shield drop like back air position, so which is good versus Falco. So yeah, like even that's like quite good.
yeah, even like ledge dash roll or like just ledge dash shield is like the only thing you can really think of. But being shield when another Falco is actionable is so scary. So
Yeah. Huh. Side platform. Yeah, I feel like there's something here with the side platforms in general that we're missing. Like, I feel like we are not. They should be able to like offer some kind of, especially on this stage where they're like kind of centered on the stage. I feel like there's like probably like potential for laser counterplay when we're getting choked out by them. That we're not really using, and I think that yeah, especially after thinking about how the ledge hop double laser works against them, that makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah.
That was great. This is great. Love this. Keep going. Okay, so talk me through like this. So when you're in this position, why are we like switching to laser?
Um, so in my mind, I was thinking like she would shield drop, maybe hit me, if I were to back air. So I'm just like I'm gonna laser, and then she might just like shield drop anyways. Um, as you can see, I was shaking my head after losing the stock, so I was kind of in like a go mode, or like I need to just like finish the stock right away. So I feel like I was throwing a lot of caution to the wind.
So one of the no, and that makes sense, but it's something I want to kind of this is actually a setup that I've seen Mango and like Cody do, and I think it's quite good, which is why I'm like stopping to point it out. So
Oh wow.
by you jumping over here, by like threatening back air, what happens if you land here? Like you could just empty land here, right? Because she's gonna hold shield because she can't get back aired because she's at 128.
I mean that's a really great up tilt spot.
Yeah. So and she's shielding, so she's drained her shield.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if my up tilt could reach her legs just by standing on the side plat like that. But
You see the potential
uh,
though, right?
yeah,
Because it's
I
just
definitely see it.
like if this hits, then that's like especially because we're like conditioning because she has to realistically hold shield from here to here, like as we pass through. Because if she doesn't, then she just like she just potentially dies to the back air. So we can actually just not back air and land here, and then have you play a different mix up.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and yeah, I'm definitely seeing that. And even if she stays on the platform, I feel like it's still pretty good position for me to be in.
Hmm.
Especially since I'm at zero.
Yeah, and like I think I know up smash hits through these, and like at 128, like that's not the worst thing ever. Like just to like get her off stage and like put her into like lethal. 128 weak hit up smash. Like maybe it doesn't do it, but like I think some of the time it definitely gives us an edge. Like it usually gives us an okay edge guard to like a pretty good edge guard to work with. So
Yeah,
I think that like this idea of like Falco's really powerful like above people. So like we kind of go above them, force them to shield, and then like go underneath them when they're on platforms. I think that could be a way that we could potentially maybe challenge shield droppers too. Because I know that's a pain point for him. Like as long as we have a poke that like hits through the platform from here, I think that there's like a lot of potential here.
yeah. I'll definitely look for that more often. because usually when I see people on the side plats, I either wait for them to hop off or I like throw out a forward air to clip their toes.
Hmm.
Here, I was just kind of following them, and I just happened to be in the air.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. And see, the problem with the laser is like the laser cues for them, like the laser cues for them that like when they're supposed to act. Because once they see that, they know that like, okay, cool, can't defend anymore. So then they go there. But had we just landed an up tilted, like that definitely like even like because she shield dropped kind of aggressively. That could even if they shield drop like autopilot, the up tilt might just anti-air them.
Yeah.
Oof, jumped into that. Yeah. So going into this up tilt, what are your thoughts on like how on this interaction?
That one specifically.
Yeah.
Um, so like I said, I was kind of in go mode. Usually, I'm pretty good at dash dance down airing this, but um, I think seeing Casey do her lasers so often is kind of what prompted in my brain, like, okay, maybe I could like nair the startup of a laser, and I think this is where this comes from. Just kind of like random past things kind of being jumbled up into this situation.
Hmm.
That's kind of why I think I went for this.
That makes sense. Because yeah, like so the idea is that you're worried that she's gonna try to set up her lasers again, so you're just trying to like intercept her basically. But then
Yeah,
because of like how she entered this position by missing, she just doesn't have the time to like set them up in the way you think that she does.
yeah, she recognized that she could just up tilt here. And usually, I think before she was like dash jam, or not dash jam, but dash back lasering pretty much. And I think that's kind of like what I was thinking. So I was gonna try and catch her,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, because Downer definitely like I think that Downer just like clean beats that at the angle, but yeah, it's just I get it. I get it. You're trying to like beat something else. How how consistent is it to like intercept Falco's laser with like shuffle nair? Would you say?
it depends on the spacing and the laser, but that's like kind of what I go to if I see that I'm at that sort of spacing. Like if we're both like lasering each other like that, if we were a little bit closer in that kind of situation, that would be like one where I could just jump in there. It's kind of like an unreactable zone kind of.
Mm-hmm. I guess what my question is does it actually work though?
Um Honestly, I'm not sure. It's
Yeah,
something that I know I hit, but it is very like they could just do something else and it just doesn't work kind of thing.
I want to see like I think in the Fountain of Dreams game there was like actually like exactly what you described, and I think the laser actually like lost. No, sorry, the laser actually won. So like let's take a look. See, I think it was in this game. We'll speed this up. We'll go full speed.
Yeah, see, like what Casey did there is probably like where my brain was thinking. Or we were both lasering, and then she taught me with an air. Like, see, laser, and then just jump in there.
Yeah. Okay. So let me watch this like carefully. So this. Okay, it's not a here. It's on the next opening, I think.
Yeah, here. So I'm trying to set up lasers. She catches me, and then just like immediate in air.
But the thing I would say about this Nair is that this Nair is good even if you like dash away though.
Yeah,
Or even if
and
you like do something else, like this Nair is still good though.
yeah. And I think also she hit me with the laser first.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to see a situation where it's just like a raw nair rather than like a laser and then an aerial.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because like yeah, I agree with that because the laser kind of like provides some advantage for the Falco going into it. So yeah, we want something on even footing. Like so, not like we don't want to do like assess something where like somebody's already kind of like achieved advantage. Like I find the dash attack under the lasers is like working pretty well. I really like how she like caught your like down air with this one. See how it kind of makes an umbrella over her?
Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is something big. I think it is this stock where it happens. Styling. That.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like because of the arc of your like of your nair, this doesn't like actually go into the high lasers very well at all. I think that like
Yeah.
what I notice is successful is like when you like dash attack when you dash attack. I actually think maybe dashing forward is actually like not a bad idea, like for realsies, because if you're if you're able to like advance under the high laser and then like move under it forward, you know, you can potentially jump up and shoot another one afterwards. It also makes it really awkward for her to like go for a second high laser if you're advancing under it, because then yeah, as if you keep doing exactly what you're doing, you're just going to reach her and be able to punish her. So it changes the dynamic a little bit. It kind of steers it away from like the fight, it being about like just stopping the other person from lasering, because then they have to stop you from moving. So I think that might also be a dimension that we can use, that we can work with.
Okay. So if I see the other Falco high lasering, then some of the things I could do is dash attack, or just dash, dash and shine, like just straight under it, and
Yeah.
like maybe even mid laser or low laser.
Yeah, so let's like organize this. So I'm gonna make some notes.
Yeah.
So versus high laser, dash forward, bracket into dash attack, no, into dash attack, shine. Probably up, honestly, dash JC up smash doesn't sound terrible here. It's like a little weird, but whatever.
No, that could actually work. I could see that working.
Yeah.
One thing though is that like, what about on like super low percents? Because like I straight up can't dash attack at low percents. I'm getting wrecked if I do that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
dash, yeah.
No, that's fair. I think that like the idea here is that the dash forward is probably just a mid% play.
Okay.
Yeah, like because we don't want to be just like doing like we don't want to create a situation where we have to hit shine, like the most coveted move to hit in our matchup, as our like only solution, as part of our system. Like that is no bueno. So I think that this is like a mid% thing, and we can make a note of that. So then for early percent, I would say, I think that the idea, we stick to the current plan more or less, but we have to we play a more refined version of it. So like compete lasers with compete with high lasers using using own high lasers plus plus side platform to get off same plane as Falco, Falco laser, and counterattack with falling laser or short hop laser to cut off full hop if they try to like shoot us up there.
Okay.
Then another one
That
would
makes
be
sense.
yeah, that's a chic thing. Because we go
Yeah.
up on the side platforms and like we charge needles, so if you come up, we try to shoot you. Yeah, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would also say like, and then when in like if all else fails, can still play to the full hop, to the full hop, which is less than ideal, but like we have now 3 lines of play essentially. One of them's conditional. Two of them are kind of conditional, but like at least we have more things going on, which is important.
Yeah.
Aside from that, and then let's expand that. General lasers. Can fire high laser. No, high laser is more important due to its speed and ability to cut off opposing laser setups. And then I would say low laser. No, what would you say the perks of mid laser are on? Like, what are the perks of it, and what are the weaknesses?
So it can't really be jumped over like a low laser can. Like the main thing I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it stops you from kind of dashing forward. So it kind of like forces the shield or to jump. Kind of what I'm thinking.
I guess it's one of its weaknesses. For like mid laser, it would be susceptible to power shield.
Yeah, the power shield.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So mid laser is multi-purpose. Bracket hitting jumps plus plus crouches plus stand plus dash. Good for intercepting commitments. That makes it good for interception on commitments. Weakness is that it's the easiest to power shield. No power shield, and and will lose to high laser.
That makes sense.
Yep, and then low laser would be the strongest in terms of net hit stun, and is tougher to and more resistant to power shield play. Bracket harder plus can jump over. Drawback is it's the slowest laser speed and easiest to jump.
Yeah.
Cool. So now we have a better understanding of what our lasers are doing for us.
Yeah, this makes it really easy to organize.
Yeah. I like this. What do you think of it? Like, is there anything missing? Is there anything we need to do with it? Or do you think this is a good starting point?
I think that's a good starting point for the laser game, because I really feel like it was that was kind of controlling this entire set pretty much.
That's what I saw, so if that's what you saw too, then we're on the same page. I mean, like, she did other good things. Like again, great player. But yeah, like the fact that she outclassed you, so significant, or like was just so much more like experienced and prepared for that facet of the matchup. It really dictated the course of the game. And that sometimes happens. Like, it's like when we don't know to like shoot lasers and kind of keep our distance versus Puff. Like, she can just run away with the game sometimes, like in the same way. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But now you have things to combat this. With our last 10 minutes, how do you foresee this time being productive?
I guess we could talk percents in some situations, because I feel like once I get to mid%, that's like where I'm most comfortable. Like, even if I'm like uncomfortable with like the laser stuff, as soon as I get something, that's when I can actually play what I like like I get like at least a little bit of a chance to play. Um, I think it's more so homework for me to do. Like if I'm dashing under and she's at like whatever percent, I'm doing like an up smash,
Hmm.
saying like when it's gonna knock down, or like if I could dash in like down tilt or something, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But,
I mean, like we can just use Uncle Punch for a second. Like
yeah,
I can just boot up Uncle Punch. That's fine. So let me close this out, and I will pull up. I will pull that up. Where is Uncle Punch? Ah, there we are, Dolphin. So, with that in mind, what do you think about using like tech? If we're using more launchers, what do you think about going for more tech traps in this one?
um, yeah,
'Cause-
that sounds like it makes sense.
yeah, because if we're going for things like dash attack and like more up smashes and things like that, like potentially, like who's to say that this is what we land on? But like if we were to land on that, then I would think that like going for those kinds of lines of play makes a ton of sense. Yeah, it's just oh, where's Uncle Punch? Uncle Punch, where are you? Okay, there we go. So let's go into Training Lab, and we'll do Falco Ditto.
Training mode. Falco. Falco.
And we'll go here.
Perfect.
So what percent do you think that up smash will knock over at?
If I had to guess, probably like around 25, and start going lower.
Yep, so we're gonna make this, we're also gonna like remove variables, so we're tearing trajectory DI off, so let's try 20. Pretty low. Cool. So the question of the hour is at 16. Yep.
Oh wow,
Like
that's
it's
like a laser and like a straight back arrow.
yeah. So what's like the LS said dash attack, so I think this will be 20, but no, that's way too low. Let's try 30. What do you bet? Like over or under 20? Over and under 27?
I think it's gonna be over. Yeah,
We're
Yep.
right.
29 exactly.
Yeah, so we're at what? 20. It was at like 19 or something, right, for up smash, right?
Yeah,
Double check
I
that.
think it's 18.
18? Okay, we'll double check. Yeah, so 18, like 17, something like that. Wow. Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 16 or 17.
It's actually kind of pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we don't get like much off it, but like even just like, yeah, like
If
there's.
you're in the corner, it's like that's kind of you're gonna be like off center, or like kind of more in the corner when you're trying to set up lasers at first. Then it can make stuff a little bit easier.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I can definitely see that for sure. So yeah, like
Yeah.
so dash attack percents. Let me write these down. So percents. Dash attack was 29, I think.
For the initial hit.
Yeah, 29% initial. Bracket full power. And then it would be up smash. Was 16% initial full power. Like that's pretty interesting. Is there a way that we could like, and we could just laser into these too, right? Like for the up smash. Well, granted, if we get like a clean laser like that, like we probably go for something else. But like, we also get a lot of lasers that hit her out of the air, and she's kind of like hovering there sometimes. Like she's not close enough to shine, but this could be another way to like take advantage of that opening, right?
Yeah.
Like if she's jumping around like this and we happen to hit, like I don't know how to play this character, but like yeah, something like that. Yeah. Like you see how it works. I can't do it because yeah, execution. But like the idea I think is sound.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think the? So is it that you're having trouble bridging the mid percent, or is it like what's the problem we're trying to solve here?
I definitely think it's within the mid-percent. Because, like, I feel like once someone has, like, better laser control, then it's like, I always put myself in, like, the full hop or, like, defensive mode. And I'm pretty much always trying to just be, like, praying on getting my one hit. Or, like, one opening or one knockdown or something. So I'm trying to, like, find ways to reach that percent that I am comfortable in being in. Like, just kind of at all, I guess. Just trying to find those from, like, low to mid percents. And obviously, a lot of it's going to be just from, you know, understanding the game better, which I do now. So, I don't know, it's definitely going to be interesting.
What do you think about going like so when you get down here in this matchup? Obviously, clean down here is like super easy to work with. When they smash DI away from the shine, though, what's usually your like go-to there?
When they go away, I feel like I'm trying to think. Usually, I try and run in there. But I don't think that's like the greatest thing to do. Because I've seen like other Falcos, like they dash, wave dash, and then like forward smash. Yeah, and also like people, I'm not sure if like at zero exactly shine's even true because I've been shined out of it so many times. Like you need like at least a little bit of percent.
We can actually confirm that. Let's do damage. Because this
If
is actually...
not, then it's just I'm getting crouch canceled.
So, let's actually... Yeah, we'll just do frame advance so we get the exact number. So there's 16 frames of stun. And there's 9 frames of L cancel lag. So, it's possible. It's possible.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's definitely possible even through crouch cancel, because even if he's crouching, like, that's not going to, like, reduce it enough, I think. Because if we go into it now... Yeah, it's 10. So it technically works. It's, you know, barely works, so you'd have to be frame perfect. Like, you'd have to land basically the next frame and then do shine perfectly. But it technically works.
Oh, wow.
But this might mean that we might need to examine... like, how we're hitting that initial down air.
Yeah.
Like, I have him on Smash DI medium away, right? So, like, he's right now, like, moving really far. It's possible maybe your opponent is Smash DIing, right? That could be a thing. I know something that I feel like Zoo used to do in the mirror, and granted, this is old school tech, but, like, I feel like he always lasered people to, like, 8 or, like, around, like, 8-ish before going in. Just because it helps, like, bridge this gap, because, like, the amount of stun you have, like, by putting him to 10 or something first is, like, it's a lot more manageable. Like, see, 18. I think it's actually, like, higher than that.
Oh, well.
Yeah, 20. So he has, like, assuming he hits lowest to down here, he has, like, plus 11, which is, you know, that's pretty good. And all we did was just, like, laser a little bit beforehand. Now, obviously, good opponents won't allow you to do that always, but it might not be a bad thing to look for to just make your, like, early game a little less reverse-able, you know?
Yeah. Just about 3 lasers, pretty much.
And even if you get, like, 2, because, again, like, damage is, like, it's not like you don't get the bonus damage. Like, that's 19 now.
Yeah.
And this is just, like, 2 lasers.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think that, like, maybe that can be a thing. So in addition to, like, general lasers, let's add actually no, this would be under percents, because, like, using lasers to increase hit window, or for early game combo starters. Combo starters helps prevent reversals, and add safety. Plus adds safety.
Okay.
Yeah, because this gives you a lot to work with.
Also, I need to get better at doing the double downer thing. I know how to do it. You get them to like, once you hit the dare, you get a shine, and then if they're around like 25 to like 32, I want to say, then you can do the double downer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not too worried about... You are the last
Yeah.
person in the universe I am worried about, like, not being able to figure out, like, how to kill someone.
Yeah.
It's more about just, like, making sure that we know how to do, and like that you're equipped with a method so that you can do it in a way that's just like allows you to be more consistent.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered that today, and you have a lot to experiment with. But can I count on you to like also, in addition to the stuff we talked about, can I count on you to make sure that if you're going to practice something from a match, we're going to actually look at what happened so that we know exactly what we are copying or practicing? Because I know that like that was something we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
I know, it's really boring. Nobody likes looking through their games. But I promise you, it is better to have a proper reference point. Because think about all the information we gained and like how much more precision we had from being able to like look at exactly what was happening. And imagine what that can do for your play, for your practice, for just like a couple minutes of work.
Yeah.
Okay. I do have somebody at noon, so I do have to go, but are you alright and everything good? We're good from here?
Yeah, I could definitely work with this because yeah, when playing Casey, it felt really close, but looking back at it now, it's like, dang, she really just had like complete control the entire time.
Good player good. What else? Like, good player good player won. Because they
Yeah.
did good player things, like, shocker. But, the wonderful thing about playing a mirror, we can learn and steal those things. So, I'll
Yeah,
leave you
that's the
to...
one thing that I love about the Ditto, at least. Like, it feels much easier to analyze.
The other thing is like, and this will be the last thought I leave you with, but like, man, I'm just gonna come out and say it, I do not miss the Chic Ditto. Like, I do not miss being killed by chain grabs, like, from 0 to, like, 117 after factoring in the finisher. Like, no thank you. Like, whereas at least with Falco, like, so many of Falco's elements are interactive, but Chic Dittos are just, like, some of the really abusive top tier Dittos are just, like, it's just, you do the thing and it murders the other person, and it's just, like, there's nothing they could have done at any point, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Neat.
Yeah, it sounds very oppressive.
I mean, she's the I always have lethal character, and then she's fighting herself, so it makes sense. But you get two of them together, it's just too much. Anyways, I'll let you go, but take care. It's lovely having you again, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Bye for now, okay?
Okay, goodbye.